Greetings YouTube, Kudo-kun here, and while this hardly seems necessary, I'd like to talk a little bit about Pokemon Go and my experiences with it. This game is very popular and honestly not all that complicated, but I'll give a quick overview for the uninformed. Basically, the game uses the real world to simulate things that you can do in the game. So, Pokemon that you catch, you actually have to catch around you, and you have to move to a new location to keep catching more. There are also gyms that you can take over that reward you with coins and bragging rights, and there are also Polka Stops that are the main way that you get items. The Pokemon are pretty random, but the Polka Stops and the Polka Gyms are actually not random, so if you happen to see a gym or a Polka Stop that you want to visit frequently, you can always go there and know that it's going to be there. To catch Pokemon, you don't fight them and make them faint anymore. Instead, you actually have to throw Pokeballs at them until you catch them. There are a few nuances here, like you'll notice there's a colored yellow circle that's moving inwards as I'm holding the Pokeball. The way this works is if you can throw your Pokeball and land it inside of that yellow circle, it increases your capture chance. The smaller the circle gets when you actually land it inside, the better your chances are. It can either be a nice or a great or neither. There are 3 teams in Pokemon Go, and they're represented by the 3 legendary birds. So you have Team Instinct for Zapdos, you have Team Valor for Moltres, and you have Team Mystic for Articuno. There's not necessarily a bonus to joining one over the others, except for the fact that Team Instinct is obviously the best team, and if you disagree, you're wrong. But the team you're on dictates who your teammates are when you're trying to take over locations on the map known as gyms. I highly recommend that if you're getting into this with a group of your friends, you all pick the same team. Because if you all agree on one team and play together, then you can all work together to take over a gym when you find it. Anybody in your catching group who is not a part of your team is going to be fighting against you when you are trying to defend this gym. Or if you are trying to take over a gym that's neither of your teams, then you're both trying to go after the same gym, and they're probably going to be at a disadvantage. So it's okay, but it's definitely not as much fun. If you'll notice, there are these marked points on the map I keep clicking and then spinning the circle in the middle. Let me explain. There are places called Polka Stops, which are the main places that you're going to be getting a lot of your items. To get your items, you activate the Polka Stop by touching it, and then you spin the circle in the middle, and it gives you between 2 and 6 items, depending on how lucky you are. Sometimes you'll notice that the Polka Stops have, like, pink cherry blossoms sort of spinning around them. Having a lore module on a Polka Stop means that not only do rarer Pokemon show up, but more frequent Pokemon show up, so it's a great place to aim to catch Pokemon. If you happen to be in an area that's highly populated, much like I am, then your main goal will be to look for the areas that have lore modules, go there, activate them, catch the Pokemon, and then look for the next place that has lore modules. These Polka Stops with the lore module should always be your main place to go and activate. I also think you might get better items from these, but that's not confirmed, so don't quote me on that. Now, while the game is pretty fun, and we've gone over pretty much everything there is to go over, there is a dark side to all of this. This game is severely broken right now. One of my favorite little glitches is one that makes Pokestops stop working. I've seen the words "try again later" on a Pokestop so often that they're going to be burned into my screen. There is absolutely no explanation for why some of these Pokestops just refuse to work. But I can tell you that in highly populated areas like the one I'm in, half of the Pokestops absolutely refuse to activate. As you can understand, this can be very, very frustrating. And if you're on a roll, it puts a complete stop on what you're trying to do, because you don't want to leave without getting the items, but at the same time, you kind of have to, but you don't know how long you have to wait to see like how many tries you have to give it before it starts working or what. As a quick tip though, guys, just stop trying it, okay? Don't stay at one place for too long trying one over and over again like I do. I made the poor decision to have faith in the game. Please don't make my mistakes. Oh, but the fun doesn't stop there, guys. Catching Pokemon is also really buggy right now. You guys should check out this pretty sick little catch that I pull off here. So the Pokeball hits, it hits the ground, and then... Yep. I haven't frozen the video, guys. There's still stuff moving in the background. What a well-made game, guys. This is absolutely riveting. And no, this isn't a matter of just waiting for the Pokemon to register. This is just the game has crashed. The only way out of this is to close the game and reload it. Now, to their credit, if you were successfully going to get the capture, then the Pokemon will show up in your inventory. But if the Pokemon breaks free, you're kind of screwed, because there's no way to just continue the battle. Now, both of these pale in comparison to the colossal failure known as the gym battle. Now, gym battles are pretty much the point of it all. It's the only way that you can fight other Pokemon in the game. The main goal and gameplay of the game is capturing these gyms because you get free stuff for doing it. And honestly, it's just not that good. The gameplay works like this. You tap the screen as fast as you can tap left or right to avoid attacks, and every Pokemon has a special meter that can be built up over time to perform a special attack. Honestly, the game just isn't all that satisfying. While type advantages do come into play with not very effectives and super effectives, it's really just a matter of who has the higher CP. Like, super effectives and not very effectives are only really like a cause of concern when you're within 100 CP of your opponent. If you're over 100 CP of your opponent, then it doesn't really matter if you're doing not very effective attacks and your opponent's doing super effective attacks, you're probably still going to win. Now, that's just nitpicking the gameplay. We haven't even hit the main problem with the gym battles yet. I want you guys to pay close attention to what's about to happen here. Now, this Pidgeot that I'm fighting against is going to die. I still have 4 Pokemon left to take it out with, and it's definitely going to get to 0 HP. But once it hits 0 HP, for some reason, it's not quite dead yet. This is what's known as the invincible Pokemon glitch. The battle is over. That Pidgeot is dead. But regardless of how hard I try, no matter what I do, that Pidgeot will not be considered dead. This is a severely hindering. And on top of all of that, when the battle is over, the game has the gall to give me a time up. The game tells me that I lost the battle, even though the only reason I didn't take that gym was because the game was really screwy. The other side to this is my Pokemon are still dead and injured. Like, it didn't do anything to their Pokemon, but all of the damage that my Pokemon sustained from that glitchy Pokemon are still there. But wait, there's more. Invincible Pokemon is not the only problem you'll have to deal with. Sometimes the gym battle will not even load up. You pick the gym, you pick your Pokemon, you go, it says Battle 1, go, quits. I've tried this over and over and over and over and over again, and there is no fix to it. I've tried to get better reception by moving to new locations, I've tried restarting the app, I've tried everything here, and there's just no way of getting around it. One gameplay thing I skipped over are eggs. You get eggs from Polka Stops, and you have to use an item to activate them. While activated, the game will track how far you're traveling while you have an egg activated, and you have to walk a certain distance to actually get the egg to hatch. The eggs are neat because they encourage you to get out, walk, and go find more Polka Stops. And you can use them to get Pokemon that aren't normally in your area. I've never come across a Ponyta before, but I got one out of that egg. You have one infinite incubator, so you'll always be able to activate at least one Pokemon egg at a time. You can also get temporary incubators, which can be used to activate other Pokemon up to 3 times per incubator. And one neat thing is you do get some free incubators just from leveling up. You can also buy incubators from the cash shop for about $1.50 each. They're a little expensive, but they're one of the only 2 items in the item shop I would actually recommend buying with real money. The other being lucky eggs, which double your experience for half an hour. Let's talk about experience for a second. You get 100 experience for catching a Pokemon, you get 500 experience for evolving a Pokemon, and you get 50 experience for visiting a Pokestop. Having a higher level gives you access to higher CP Pokemon when you're traveling, and also gives you access to some rarer Pokemon, so you want to level up as quickly as possible. The Pokemon that you catch in the first 10 levels of your adventure are probably going to be worthless by the time you actually get to the higher levels. Like, I was so excited when I finally got a Pokemon up over 100 CP, and then I just started catching 500 CP out in the wild. It's a pretty huge leap. A lot of people have figured out this next trick, but just in case you haven't, I want to go over it. Now, a lot of people are complaining about the number of Pidgeys they happen to be catching, but I think these people are really dumb. Pidgeys are the best Pokemon in this entire game for leveling up. You get 3 Pidgey candies when you catch a Pidgey. So catch 4 Pidgeys, spend 12 to level up the 4th Pidgey, and it's 500 experience, plus you can transfer the other 3 Pidgeys to get 3 more candies to make the next one even easier. To put it into layman's terms, Every 4 Pidgeys you catch is worth 900 experience. So 4 Pidgeys equals the experience of catching 9 Pokemon. I highly, highly recommend you stockpile on Pidgeys, and then you activate a Lucky Egg and you start evolving those things. Because with a Lucky Egg activated, it's 1000 experience every time you level up one of these Pidgeys. So you can easily jump 4, 5, or even 6 levels at a time just from doing this trick. I wouldn't necessarily call this an exploit per se, because it is something that's in the game, and I have a feeling that the creators made the Pidgeys easy to level up for this particular purpose. Rattatas are pretty okay too. It takes 25 to level them up, which is still twice as fast as all of the regular Pokemon, but it's just not as good as the Pidgeys. Regardless of this fact, I say just don't evolve a single Pokemon until you have a Lucky Egg activated, and then just activate all of them for this huge experience bonus. One other thing I'd like to cover are these Pokemon Plus devices. So one problem with the Pokemon app is you cannot actually get it to send you signals when you come into contact with a Pokemon or a Pokestop unless you have the app active and open on your screen. While we don't 100% know how the Pokemon Plus will work with the app itself, we do know that it will let you know when you are near a Pokemon or a Pokestop if you happen to come into contact with one with the app off, I believe. Now, whether the app has to be on or off for this to work is going to be sort of the selling point or the main killer of this, because the main problem people are having right now is that Pokemon is absolutely destroying batteries. It takes like an entire day's worth of charge from 100% to 0%, and getting like 2.5 hours out of it maybe, because you have to have the app running in order to do anything with it. If the Pokemon Plus works the way I think it does, then you'll be able to keep your phone off or sleeping, and it will vibrate and let you know when to open the app to actually start catching Pokemon. This is great, but it's also a little bit shifty. There's not necessarily a reason they couldn't have just added a feature that makes your phone vibrate when you're near a Pokemon or a Pokestop. That is really, really shady. I do kind of want to get one of these, first of all, because I think it's a pretty cool, stylish little thing, and second of all, because I think this game has enough popularity that it's going to be around for at least a few more months. I don't know if the gameplay will necessarily give the game the longevity it needs to last much longer than that, but I know that at least for the next few months, this game is going to explode. If you can keep your phone screen off and still catch Pokemon with one of these devices, then it's going to heavily, heavily increase the battery life of your phone. Because having the Pokemon app isn't necessarily what kills your battery, it's having to have the screen on. Like if you go through and check your battery settings, the thing that drains your battery the most is having to have your screen on in the first place. So it's pretty shady that we have to buy a $35 device in order to get a feature of the app that should already be active to work. But if you are going to play this game hardcore, I cannot recommend this enough. But only if it works while your screen is off. I've been talking for a really long time. Let's start wrapping this up with my final thoughts. Despite all of my complaining, I don't think this is a bad game. I think this game is perfectly fine. Not necessarily a great Pokemon game, but probably one of the best mobile games that we've gotten in a few years. The thing that bothers me the most is the fact that the game is still so broken on release. They had a beta where they only invited a few people in at a time, and that was a huge mistake. They should have just made it an open beta, let everybody in so they could stress test their servers, because right now their servers are absolute dog crap. Right now, the main running theme at the college that I live by is the game would be great if it actually worked, and I cannot agree with that enough. When the game does work, it's a very fun, engaging experience that brings a lot of people together. Somebody will activate a lure in a shop, for example, and then everybody will collect at that shop. That shop will get increased business and revenue, and the players will get to stick together and interact and talk about when they catch a good Pokemon. One other pretty big problem I have with the app is there's not a whole lot that you can do with other people that you're traveling with. I've heard that they're going to add a trade feature so that you can trade Pokemon with other people, but I'm thinking something more like battling. Honestly, why can't I just battle against my friends when we come into contact with each other? Sure, it's great that we can battle at a gym, but it would be a lot better if my friends and I could fight against each other, because the no-lifers are going to take the gyms. It's that simple. Right now, there are Pokemon that have 1,500 CP at my gyms, and I just cannot take them down. And it's just really infuriating, because Pokemon is all about the battling. That's part of what makes Pokemon so good in the first place. I don't really care if I can beat these gyms. I care about the bragging rights within my own group. I would love to fight against people in my own group, and it would be great if we could fight each other while we're hanging out. One kind of problem here, I think, is the fact that they've written themselves into a corner. The battle system is not something that can or should be done by two people at once. Now, if it was maybe a turn-based battle system, like if there was a more Pokemon-ish battle system in this Pokemon game, it would actually work really well. And here's where we hit the main crutch. This game is very big right now. It is a very good travel game, and a lot of people are getting into it. But I have a feeling that this game is being held up almost completely by the community. I don't feel like the core gameplay of Pokemon Go is good enough that after the community starts dying down, there will be an incentive for more people to pick it up and play. This game is good purely because the community for it is good right now. If Pokemon Go ever loses its community, then it's going to be a huge problem, because this game will not survive on its gameplay mechanics alone. I'm sorry to say it, guys, it's not my call. I have to be as honest and open as possible, and I don't feel like the gameplay in Pokemon Go is that strong. It's the fact that you can invite your friends over and watch a movie, and then afterwards say, hey, do you guys want to go out to the mall and see if there are any Pokemon there? That makes this game so cool, because when your friends are over, you can all travel to the mall together, collect Pokemon together, maybe activate a lure module, and just hang out at the mall and have something else to do other than just sit and do nothing. There's one last thing I want to talk about, and that's there are some people saying, man, this game is good. I really like that I can play a Pokemon game on the go, but I really wish there was just a traditional Pokemon game that I could play for my phone with other people. I want to catch Pokemon through battling. I want to fight other trainers. I want to play a traditional Pokemon game on the go with other people. And while Pokemon Go is great, it doesn't really satisfy that for me. Well, I'm happy to know that there is actually a Pokemon MMO out there that, yes, you can play on your phone right now. The game is fully functioning, it's very lively, and honestly, it's probably the best we're going to get as far as multiplayer Pokemon games go, even if it's not going to get as big as Pokemon Go. The game also has an original story to follow. It's a lot of fun, and it's just a really well-built game, guys. So if you went into Pokemon Go and it wasn't really satisfying your need for an online Pokemon experience, check out Pokemon Revolution. You can get it on your phone right now for free and start playing. And heck, it doesn't kill your battery as fast, and it's something that you can do in your Pokemon Go downtime if you really need something like that. But hey, I think I've talked long enough. What are your thoughts on Pokemon Go? Was I a little too hard on it? Be honest with me and tell me in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. Those things really do help us out. And finally, subscribe to stay up to date on the latest NTR news. Enjoy your Pokemon, guys.